Okay, thanks, Julia, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to talk briefly about CNMI. I think it is an area of interest to some people. It's obviously relatively on close and good terms with the Philippines, so has some relevance. Okay, just a reminder of where it is for those of you who don't know the CNMI. It is a beautiful tropical island. There's absolutely amazing golf, the beautiful beaches. It's got a lot of history and culture to it. So it is a fabulous destination resort. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just start with addressing some misconceptions about what CNMI is and what Saipan is, just briefly. So talk more about what I call the next Netflix drama, which is Imperial Pacific, and then touch on the two other main islands to Saipan, which are Tinian and Rota. So are there opportunities here for investors, or is this just a closed-up shop? I'll give you some conclusions on that. Okay, it is the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, and Saipan is the largest, with two others, Tinian and Rota, making the three of the about 14 islands, I think, just individual islands small. It has about 40,000 US citizens on it, so it is federal USA. They do have a non-voting delegate in the House of Representatives. And it can be a bit confusing, but each of the islands has its own gaming act, so which are substantial documents and well written by the people that got involved in this, and well administrated as territories go. But it is three unique gaming acts for the three island jurisdictions. So confusingly, the Commonwealth Casino Commission only represents Saipan. It doesn't have any jurisdiction over Tinian or Rota. That is, would be the governor of the island, who would have some say in all three of them. But actually, as individual units, they sit apart. Of those 40,000 US citizens, there are some wealthy people there, but it's not an extremely wealthy population. So here it is. This is Imperial Palace, which is in the center of Garapan, which is considered the capital of Saipan. Again, not Rota or Tinian, it's the capital of Saipan. And it's a traditional looking casino built by Chinese contractors with a huge gaming area. Obviously now, what has happened to this casino is it's now subject of a fair amount of disrepute. So it's owned by a Hong Kong listed company. So it already is a substantial business. It owes probably about 100 million in taxes, in creditors, in fees and fines, in judgments to laborers. They owe me money. It is a substantial problem for this company to get back on its feet as we come through COVID. That building I showed you is now in dangerous condition because they don't, other than being able to pay for lawyers to fight off creditors, they can't afford to pay the security guards and definitely can't afford to pay the maintenance people. So it now has a problem. So the lawyers are somehow keeping it all going. So somewhere somebody is paying lawyers to fight off these judgments that are coming at them thick and fast every day. Just to give you some perspective of how well they've run this operation. It's not to say the management of this operation haven't been good. It's been well run. There's something they couldn't really, the management on the ground couldn't really do anything about, and that was the amount of debts being written off. So to give you some perspective, $1 billion was written off in about the last 3 years. So another 100 if that's been provided for. That is more than the Las Vegas Strip has written off in the last 10 years. All the casinos on the Strip. So it is an astonishing project, this, if you can consider the second point and the bottom point. And we're still getting articles written in the press about it reopening in July. Or it's going to reopen, or somebody's got the money, or a white knight is going to fly in here. First of all, they've got to deal with all this. And you might speculate that the $1 billion that was written off, was that collected somewhere else? I don't think Saipan, CNMI would know about that. That's a major problem. Tinian has a history of casinos. There was one in the 90s that was built and did very well until it broke anti-money laundering laws and was effectively closed down by the government. And that building now has fallen to pieces and is being taken over by the jungle on Tinian. So it's almost you need to bulldoze it down and start again. So Tinian dynasty is gone. Tinian Diamond Casino is actually ready to open. It's much more appropriate for the size. And the owner there is looking for interested parties who might want to either manage it or buy it from them. And what they'll do, interestingly, is bring a car ferry from China, which I've seen. And they are likely to start shipping people from Saipan to Tinian. That will increase visitation. However, lest we should say it, there's only 2,500 people living on Tinian. So this is not a domestic market. So they have to get there somehow. Just in terms of Mr. McNally's comments on inbound traffic, today there are about 20 flights coming in to Saipan, which is the international airport in CNMI, and those are coming in from Narita and from Seoul. So there's no other flights coming in, other than Guam, you might say. So at the moment, foreign visitation is going to be small, and there's no outbound from China, as we all know, which was a big part of what IPI was supposed to be about. And finally, just as I said, Rota does have its own gaming act, and it is looking for investment partners to build casinos. I think the challenge with all of these casinos on very small islands like this with very little domestic play is just how do you get players there now in the new environment? How can you do that? And remembering that it's federal USA, so it's very, very carefully scrutinized by the lawyers, by the marshals, by the courts. So, there is no rule bending here. And perhaps there was in the past, but there won't be in the future. So in conclusion, I'm quite negative on CNMI. I do like the Tinian project because it's small. I think IPI, any potential to buy IPI or buy its assets or open up a new casino or casinos is going to take years. And we saw with Dynasty on Tinian that when the lawyers get involved, these things slow down to a snail's pace. So I can't see, sorry about this, anything positive coming out of CNMI for now, but I've been wrong before and I could well be wrong about this too. Okay, thanks everyone.